market is dumping. Welcome back to Crypto Rosetta with Joe. Thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new on the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications. You will never miss a show. So welcome back. And yeah, if you enjoy the content, smash the like. Thank you so much yesterday also for an immense response we've had to CryptComps. For any information on CryptComps, links in the description below. We've got a competition running to win £10,000 worth of any crypto that you guys want. Definitely go and check that out. Now, what a bloodbath on crypto last night. The market is making a move down. We're going to get into it and why I think this is happening. First of all, let's get straight into it today with a bit of the price action. So, okay, currently time of recording, I've got Bitcoin at $21,755, ETH $1,537. So Bitcoin, yeah, down 4%, ETH is down 5.5% on the day. And then looking at these altcoins, it's a bit of a bloodbath overnight. So let's have a look at some of the worst affected. Let's have a look at this down on the 7 days here. You know, we've got Solana down 15% on the week, Avalanche down 16% on the week, Aptos, yeah, Giga pump up into position 29, but now down 25%. Was always going to be volatile. You know, if you've been following the channel, I said watch out for these ones that have gone on absolute mega rips. They're going to mega dump as well. So big gains either way. Big gains either way if you're trading these. And you know, I hope you know someone's done okay trading these, but you've got to be careful out there, folks. ApeCoin down 15.5%. Also, Phantom Brutal down 28% on the week, but yep, as I've just mentioned, went on an absolute giga rip. That pullback was inevitable in my opinion. So as I was saying, yeah, a lot of blood being shed on these altcoins as you know, Bitcoin's taken a bit of a dump now from the top that we've had at the low 24,000, and yeah, like I said, we're now back under 22,000. And what's really interesting about this is if you've been following the TA on the channel done by Savage, that you know Bitcoin has now moved into his potential wave 4 target box. Are we going to see a bounce from here? I personally think it's going to go a bit lower first, but which is fine. You know, still reach that technical target that Savage has put out in the center of his target box, and it's going to be interesting to see if Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency can turn around here and go to another high before we see which further direction we're taking. My primary expectation is that the top is likely in. That's just my personal opinion, but I respect the TA and truly understand that there's still a potential for that fifth wave, which still wouldn't necessarily be completely bullish on a macro perspective. I still do believe we can still even go to 25, 26 and still head to lower lows, because anything is absolutely possible. It's just not my expectation at the minute, folks. I do think we will get a bounce, but I do think we could also be on our way down. That's just my opinion. Now, what's going on in the news? We're seeing a pullback on stocks, which I'll get into in a minute, but the pullback on Bitcoin looking a bit more severe rather, and there's a bit of fear back in the market. And it's so funny with these crypto markets, how sentiment changes so quickly. Everyone gets super bearish from FTX, then obviously we get a bit of a bounce, and then everyone gets super bullish again, and it's almost like altcoin season's back, and the bottom's in, folks, the bottom's in, nothing bad is going to happen, and then boom, we're just slapped back down. And where we seem to be coming from with news at the minute is from regulators are coming down hard on this market, folks. And I did say a few weeks ago, again, been talking in our Discord. If you want to join our Discord, it's free to join, links in the description below, that about I did think when this pump started, okay, where was the money coming from? It was coming from Binance, the market makers. This wasn't retail moving these green candles up, folks. It was Binance and the market makers and the other exchanges, and using a lot of printed, minting brand new stable coins through the Paxos treasury. We've seen an absolute ton. We're talking hundreds of millions, billions of BUSD going back into Bitcoin, printed from the Paxos treasury, of which now we've got news coming out that stablecoin issuer Paxos is reportedly being probed by New York regulators. And this comes as absolutely no surprise to me, because we knew, folks, yes, there's no regulation in these markets to an extent, and it's almost like they're seeing what they can get away with, but it was inevitable that there was going to we were going to start to see more of a crackdown this year, especially based on kind of what happened last year with the collapses of FTX and Luna, etc. And I think it's good for protection for retail investors in the future, because they shouldn't be allowed to just be getting away with all these kind of scam pumps that they're going to eventually turn you into exit liquidity and dump on you. But it looks like they're making the most of it now while they can. And again, I do think, like I said, I think it's good for adoption in the future that this regulation comes and to protect you retail investors. However, you've got to understand it is going to be bearish for price action, in my opinion, in the short to medium term, and again, spook the markets a lot, cause a lot of fear. And look, I think they're already potentially got it high enough anyway for that exit liquidity for the next leg down. Also, we're seeing what's going on with staking coins, and that they're trying to stop exchanges providing staking services in the US, and the SEC has essentially cracked down on Kraken. Okay, Kraken is no longer has a staking program because they're saying they thought it was a potential win for investors. They're protecting retail. However, there's a bit of disagreement whether that's the right or wrong thing to be doing. But currently, Kraken's staking program has been shut down, and we're also hearing that there's a decent chance that it could come from Coinbase. I mentioned yesterday's video. CEO Brian Armstrong of Coinbase has also been stating that they may have to cease their staking as well. And who knows, will Binance and will all these other exchanges no longer be able to provide staking services? And what is the future? What's going to be the future of staking crypto on CeFi? It could is that going to temporarily pause? Is that going to die? I don't know the answer to that, folks. But what I will say is this is what's causing fear and spook in the markets, and it's bearish for price action in the immediate future. So got to be aware of what is going on. Now, let's get also into what's also affected the price action, because we are seeing a pullback in equities. So Dow Jones yesterday closed down 250 points, about 0.75%. S&P was about down 0.9%, down still around the 4,081. So it's still higher than I was expecting it to be at this stage. I did think we'd be back below that 4,000, but once that breaks again, I do think it will turn into a resistance again, and we may have potentially just seen a kind of fake out in January on these equities markets, because the Nasdaq has also taken a bit of a beating yesterday, down a percentage point, down 120 points, back under that 12k. Did think that shorting the Nasdaq from above 12k had a decent risk reward. However, not financial advice. Again, if you're trading out there, use risk management always. Now, DXY also seen a pullback yesterday, which was kind of interesting because the markets were dumping and the DXY was dumping at the time, but we're seeing a bit of a bounce again this morning. Why was the DXY dumping a little bit yesterday? I do believe that was a low time frame pullback for a next run up, and we could see that next move up today. We're already up 0.2% on the day. DXY is 103.4, looking pretty strong above 103 now, with that potential bear trap fake out down to 101 that I mentioned. Like I said, folks, nothing's changed with the DXY. If we get an open and close above 105, we are off to the races, and my higher time frame targets, which will still take many weeks, potentially months to play out, of 120 to 122 are still game on. Now, with crypto, where do I think this price action's going next? Like I said, I do expect a bounce, folks, but would I be trading this now, getting in some heavy longs? Personally, I'm not at the moment, just because this could be a potential falling knife. Let's be honest, we're starting to see that rollover now on the charts that did say once we get up there that it was going to kind of curve over, and we're starting to see that curve on the candles. Big daily ugly looking daily candle yesterday. If that gets followed up with another one or two, folks, this could go all the way back to where it started, and the scam pump could be essentially be washed out. So like I said, yes, the fifth wave can come, but let's just see if it starts to turn around first. What I would personally do, again, I can't advise you what to do, but what I would, if I was trading long at the moment, I would wait to see some kind of confirmation of a little bit of reversal to see, look, like it can break a bit up here. I wouldn't just be kind of, jumping in now, guessing. I do think, some people probably went long yesterday a bit too early, thinking, oh, this was a, another buy the dip opportunity, and they, it probably got stopped out yesterday, as we've seen more of a sell-off as the evening progressed. Now, also, what's not going to help the price action at the minute, again, if the stock market takes a bit more of a dump again today. So stock futures at the minute are also looking pretty bearish. Nasdaq's already suggesting opening another percentage point down, which is pretty bearish. S&P down 0.6 on the futures, and Dow Jones down 0.4 on the futures. So again, did we get a bit excited here, folks? Did we think it was a risk on back on environment for a few days in January, and all of a sudden reality has hit again? We're hearing that these constant nonsense news reports that came out from the UK, for instance, today, that we've just narrowly missed the recession. Like I've said, folks, they keep spinning it, all this, or we're just avoiding the recession, or the recession's not going to be this bad, or there's going to be these soft landings. You're going to hear all this kind of, nonsense jargon, folks, but let's be realistic. This is a global recession. It is coming. It is going to happen, and, it can't be avoided, in my personal opinion. And to be honest, folks, we want to just get it out of the way as soon as possible. And otherwise, if we kind of see that, these governments or whatever messing around, delaying this, then it could get much, much worse down the road into 2024, in my opinion. So primary expectation is still, let's get this bear market out of the way in 2023. But if we start to see, markets moving up, I think it will be worse in the long run. Now, price action of how far do I think Bitcoin can go down? Nothing has changed, in my opinion. I still believe sub $10,000 Bitcoin is absolutely possible. I know people will think that's absolutely crazy, think there's absolutely no chance the bottom's in, Joe, blah blah blah. Not got a problem with that. That's absolutely fine. You've got to go with what your belief is and trade with what your belief is. But what I would say, again, use risk management, have your stop losses in below, and then if you've already bought in, fine, have a stop loss. If it gets hit, you can always buy back in lower. But leave us a comment below if you think that the bottom is still definitely in, and this is just a pullback, and we are gonna see a bit of a significant reversal soon, and more upside, and start printing more higher highs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave this one with you there. Thank you so much for watching. As ever, if you're brand new on the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, set all notifications, smash the like, as always, really do appreciate it.